So this will be part 3. I'm gonna start off where I left off before I was interrupted by some students. So in the figure below, GH is parallel to JK, so the two triangles are similar. And then it wants you to find the value of x. So our 3 questions that we ask ourselves when we're trying to figure these out. What is the question asking me to find? X. Wants me to find x. I'm trying to find this length right here. What information does the question give me? Well, it says GH is parallel to JK. And then it's telling me right here, so the two triangles are similar. Okay, well, it gives me all this information, but the reason that the parallel lines make the triangles similar is because my alternate interior angles then become congruent. So G is congruent to K, as you can see, congruent to J is congruent to H, blah, blah, blah. So I have that triangle GIH is similar to triangle KIJ. Notice that G and K are congruent, so they both go first. The two I angles are congruent second, H and J are congruent third. Doesn't matter the order, as long as the congruent pairs are in the same spot in line. Now I can set up a proportion. I know I'm looking for GI, so I'm going to go ahead and write GI. What side corresponds to GI? GI is the first 2 letters here, KI is the first 2 letters there, so GI over KI will be equal to, do I want to use GH and JK, or do I want to use HI and IJ? Think for a second. Well, if I chose to use GH and JK, I wouldn't know what this is. So I'm going to use HI and IJ. Which one goes on top? Well, GI comes from this triangle, HI comes from this triangle. So HI also needs to go on top. Then we substitute. GI is X, KI is 8.5, HI is 6, and IJ is 5. From right here, you can cross multiply, you can use your calculator, whatever method you use to get to X, doesn't matter, as long as you know how to set this up and correctly choose our proportions and substitute correctly. If you cross multiply, you'll end up with 5x equals 6 times 8 is 24, so that's 27. No, wait. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 3 is 51. Divide both sides by 5. X equals 10.2. Number 10. In the figure below, AB and CD are perpendicular. What is the perimeter of ABC? Okay, so what is the question asking me to find? It's asking me to find the perimeter of ABC. So that's all these sides added together. So that's AB plus BC plus AC. That's what I want to find. Well, AB is 14. I already know that. BC is 15. AC, I don't know. Well, how do I find AC? So, yeah, I mean, I could use my Pythagorean theorem because I have this right triangle, but I only know one side. So I'm just giving you a couple seconds to think. Now I'm going to tell you what we're going to have to do is we're going to use this right triangle to find this length here. Then we'll subtract that from 14 to find this length here. Once we do that, we can use this length and this length to find this. So I'm not going to do all of this one for you, but I'm going to help you set it up. So to find, if we let this segment right here, if we let this, however long this line is, we let that be y. And then we let this segment right here be x. Then x, right, will be 14 minus y. So to find y, we're going to do, so this is a right triangle, this is the hypotenuse. So it'll be y squared plus 12 squared equals 15 squared. So you solve that and you get y equals something. Whatever this number is, we're going to do 14, this whole segment, minus y, and that's going to give me x. Once I have x, now I can do x squared plus 12 squared equals AC, whatever that number is, squared. So you're going to solve this for y to find this length here. Once you have that length, you subtract it from 14 to get what's left over, and that'll be your x. Once you have x, you substitute it into this equation to solve for AC. So I'm going to let you all do the work on that one. Number 11 says the trapezoid pictured below has the measurements shown. Which measure is closest to the perimeter of the trapezoid? So the perimeter is going to be this side plus this side plus this side plus this side. So right now, since we don't know these two sides, let's just go ahead and call them x and y. So right now, what I'm looking for, I'm going to have 14 plus y plus 27 plus x. So how am I going to find y and x? Well, right here I have a right triangle, so I can just use my Pythagorean theorem. To find y. Over here, what I need to do is find the length of this segment and this one. Well, this segment is this. If I draw a right angle here, then I made a rectangle, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles. So this is 9. And this segment right here is 14. So now, if this is 9, this is 14, and the whole thing is 27, then to get this piece right here, you'll do 27 minus 9, and 14 makes 23. So that is equal to 4. So this segment is 4. So now you're going to have, to find y, you'll do 9 squared plus 9 squared equals y squared. To find x, you'll do 9 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. Once you find y and you find x, you substitute them in right here, and this will give you the perimeter. And if you can't solve this by hand, you can literally go to like Google and type in 9 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared, or you can type in equation solver. There's a bunch of different ways you could figure out your x values if you don't know how to do it by hand and you don't have your calculator. That's the end of this video. Question 12 will be the beginning of the next one.